Have you ever wanted to make something that sounds like this? Or maybe this. Awesome. I'm gonna break down how I made both of these today. Yeah. Okay, so here I'm in the first project here, and honestly, it's not too complicated. It's just like around 30 layers-ish. So I'll just go through and break down what I did for each one individually. So the first one is literally just like a little bit of like low, like kind of rumbling just for more texture. The next one is just a granulator, like a fruity granulizer, I think it is here. Yeah. Oh wait, no, wrong pattern. So honestly, I just put like just like a little vocal thing in a fruity granulizer as well as like a pad I made. And when I play them both together, like automating the grain spacing and the wave spacing and like the hold time here, you get this really cool kind of like sweep effect. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I also have the other pad here, which is being volume automated. It's coming in and then kind of going out a little. Pretty cool stuff. All right, so next up, I think I saw this technique from someone on Twitter, I believe, but basically in direct wave, you can load just like a bunch of Foley samples. What I did is I just took a bunch of Foley samples in here, I dragged them into direct wave, and then if you go over here to, I think it's zone, and then if you click on trigger, you just like select a random group. I just did one just because it's the first. And then you set the type from normal to random every time you play a note here. Like, oh, my MIDI controller is not working. Yeah, notice. Every time you play a note, you get a different sample. So what I did is I just kind of made like an accelerating and then decelerating kind of pattern here. And then when I play it, every time it repeats, I'll get a new sample, like sweep that I can use here. So I just took that and I consolidated it into like a few different ones. And I think there's a few others over here. So next up is just like water splashing because you need that in Botanica, obviously. And then just like a little sweep with a pad I made. And then, oh yeah, that's me tapping on my guitar. So next up is just like some glass, like granulizer stuff I got from Splice, I think. And also this thing. I think I also got that from Splice. That too. Okay, so then next up is just some pad sweeps I made with a few of my own pads. Okay, for this pad in particular, I'm using a Fruity Peak controller just with an LFO to modulate the speed of an LFO tool. So it's just automating the volume to do that like sweep effect, like the... Next up, we just got sub bass, which is being pitch controlled here. It's just doing like a little sweep up and then down. Has some cool little volume automations to kind of fit with the piano down here, which is next up. So yeah, next we have just the piano patch that's kind of almost directing the whole piece, I guess. Nice. I don't remember what this is controlling, honestly. And then we just have more pad sweeps I made with my own pads. So this is just a bell patch I have. I think it's labs as well. Yeah, so it's just like a music box, and I have a crystallizer just to like kind of delay parts of it, and I have a disperser on it here as well. If you randomly just kind of move the disperser head here, like I just have it smoothed a little bit with a XY controller, it gives like a cool like almost pitch glitch sound effect where it sounds like this. I thought that worked really well for the kind of Botanica style. I keep almost calling it Botania, but that's like the Minecraft mod, so I gotta stop doing that. So yeah, that's just being kind of gated and swept. And the next kind of 5 or so tracks here are literally just guitar, just like guitar patches I recorded. They're each kind of panned different directions just to give more stereo width. I honestly just kind of noodled around and just like played little random melodies and little hits. I don't gate them for, I don't know, I kind of like the room noise, especially when I'm doing Botanica. Just, I feel like it fills out space a lot better. Next up is just like another pad that's just kind of being slowly swept in. All right, and then next up is just like some rain sound effects I found on Splice that are being just swept in rhythmically with the piano and everything. Oh, these are the other patterns I just kind of consolidated. Just for more texture and everything. Oh, and I also have just like a spectral gate on the master here, so like it's doing kind of sweeps at certain points. I don't know, I kind of like the spectral gating effect. So yeah, honestly, that's pretty much all there is to it. Any advice I'd give for this is just kind of focusing on like one element and building everything around that. What I usually like to do is I start with a piano piece or just like a tempo-less something, and then just kind of build everything around that. Like I like to sweep stuff like when the notes are changing, like when the bass note like changes here, or like you can see where like the breaks are in the melody, and then like when it adds more notes or goes into a different progression later on in the line. It's mainly just a balancing act of melodic elements, textures, pads, and whatever else you can layer in it to fill out space and almost make it feel like it's, you know, it's breathing, it's alive, like it feels like a plant. However you can do that in music, I'd recommend trying that out here. If you have Splice, honestly, I recommend just looking up granular in the Splice tab, and you can find a lot of really cool samples that you can either get ideas from or use directly or modify. A lot of plugins I'd recommend are the entire Spectral suite. It's free to download. It's, when I set it up, it was a little bit of a pain to set up, but maybe they refined the process a little bit because that's super useful. I use that in pretty much all of my pads that I've used here, and just generating a lot of kind of more flowery Botanica stuff. Very useful, and the spectral compressor is extremely powerful. You can use that in a lot of different use, it has a lot of different use cases. I guess that's done with this track, and on to the next one. All right, so we're here in the other project. It looks a little different than the novel chapter I made, just because I'm turning it into like a full song. It's pretty much all the same as it is in the novel chapter, so I'll just kind of go over the intro here. First thing is just this, which is this pattern, which is piano chord that I just kind of consolidated the little ending tail of. Chopped it up into like a rhythmic sort of groove here. This just looks like so it's just an effect that I just took the very end of here as well. So this is kind of the main rhythmic section. This is just like a bunch of different like little pads and guitar melodies and stuff I've recorded in like my own sample pack that's coming out later this year. Always be plugging. So then if I chop all that up, you get this. But I felt like that was a little bit empty almost. So then I took a bunch of just like ambient sound effects and kind of chopped it up to the rhythm of these other ones. And then together they sound like this. So then next up is just like a little pluck or something I just took the tail end of. I tend to do that a lot. It's just consolidate random patterns or just like a pluck, put a reverb tail on it, and then cut up just a section of that I like. That's really cool, actually. I like that a lot. All right, so next up is kind of the meat and potatoes of all the texture work here. As you can see, there's a lot of it. This was kind of before I started making my own granular texture stuff. So a lot of these are just splice samples that I just took and kind of cut up to fit the pieces of the song that I wanted. Up here, this is just all of it consolidated into just one pattern or just one clip for ease of use. No, I just want this. What am I doing? I think I just repeated both of those later on. I like to take pieces of the samples and cut them up with the melody. It adds a kind of groove to it. Why am I not using... God, I need to organize my projects better, man. Oh, I really like this one. It's just like almost like glass, like breaking, but it was like in key. And I don't think it even had a tempo, but it just like worked in the song like super conveniently. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Honestly, I like to use a lot of glass sound effects just because it has that crystally texture to it. It adds a lot of like interesting high end to pay attention to, especially in Botanica. Do you mind? Oh, this is the first pattern. I just consolidated and put it in reverse just as like a nice little sweep. All right, and then down here is just like some sustained texture just to fill out the empty space. Helps a lot with trying to maximize all your surface area per se. All right, so if we put all of that together, we get this. Very, very sonically interesting and dense. I think that's really all I have to show for this one as well. As you can see, there's a whole other song going on back here. That's crazy. I wonder when that's gonna be out. I don't know. Whenever I actually can finish it or do something good with it. All right, so I think that's pretty much all I have to show. Definitely check out Novel. I have no association with them whatsoever. Nope, not a part of that group whatsoever, not me. But yeah, thanks for watching. I've never really done a tutorial like this, so I hope it's interesting at very least, and you can learn a few things about how to kind of assemble Botanica tracks like this, because they're a blast to make. So yeah, go check out Novel, and yeah, have a good one. Thanks for watching.